This video presents aspects of a program that successfully integrated culture, content, and language in ways that allowed for meaningful communication. The integration of culture, content, and language is one of the 6 principles of effective teaching and learning endorsed by StarTalk. Learners are actively engaged as they use their emerging language skills to work with content while exploring aspects of the target culture. The Huayan StarTalk program in Montgomery County, Maryland, elected to build on an existing elementary STEM unit developed by the state.
Water has a lot of meaning. In the Chinese culture, it's one of the 5 elements, and it's really essential in life.
The existing unit, Water, Water Everywhere, outlined content goals and suggested learning activities that the program could adapt to meet their needs.
And there are a number of experiments and concepts similar to what we have in mind. Why not adapt whatever exists? So that's the reason we choose water.
The program then selected cultural elements related to the theme. How do we design units that integrate culture, content, and language? Let's begin with a working StarTalk definition of culture, content, and language before considering how these elements are part of the Water, Water Everywhere unit. Learners acquire cultural knowledge and insights as they consider and reflect on the relationships among the products, practices, and perspectives of the cultures being studied. They use their language skills to identify, discuss, explain, compare, and investigate the culture using the target language. Content-related instruction allows learners to make meaningful connections to the world around them. Learners build, reinforce, and expand their knowledge of other disciplines in the world while using the target language. Throughout the program, learners use language in the interpretive, interpersonal, and presentational modes of communication. Learning experiences are designed to allow students to use language as they work with the content and cultural topics of the unit. These types of learning experiences allow learners to engage in meaningful communication. It has a purpose and sounds real. When culture, content, and language are integrated, learning occurs much as it does in the real world. Based on the StarTalk definition for culture, content, and language, what learning targets might you expect to see in a unit on Water, Water Everywhere? Watch as veteran teacher Ita Liu teaches a lesson in which students will be asked to use their language skills to make scientific predictions, learn about the density of water, and make comparisons between Chinese and American bodies of water. Listen as she describes the process for creating learning targets that integrate culture, content, and language in ways that lead to meaningful communication.
I think context is most important. That's what we call the meaningful context. They will say, oh, why that's connected to the other one? Why you say like or dislike? They will say the pattern. If you say the math or science, the most important that they see the pattern. I think language is the same thing. They have same pattern there. So like, dislike, you see the expression 不喜欢, right? You say 喜欢, 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 喜欢. It's all the body gesture can tell you what is 喜欢, what is not 喜欢. You see the pattern. And then for the science, you see the floating part, put the oil on the top of river water, sea water. You stir them, they still not mix, right? So you see the pattern there. And then you give them number. You see the pattern, the number, why one is bigger than the other one. So when they see all the pattern, they understand what they know. In their mind, they may not just listen to your Chinese. They see all the facts there. They see all the phenomena they watch. So they will say, oh, language is not a barrier. We learn language. We didn't even notice we were learning the language. So I think it's very, very important for teacher to think about the whole context of your lesson. I have the worksheet. So the worksheet is divided 2 parts. They ask questions because we need a student do interpersonal communication. So I try to let them ask each other, 河水喜欢海水吗? So if they predict to say 喜欢, they will check 喜欢. If not, they check 不喜欢. They say maybe we need to put more culture things, but they say I'm not a culture teacher. Can you put the culture things in your lab too? I say yes, I can do it. So I collected the picture that Chinese people float on the Chinese Dead Sea. In fact, last year I didn't use Chinese Dead Sea. I used the Dead Sea in the Middle East. So I say maybe I can relate it to Chinese more, so they will know how the Chinese people, their life there, how the science also related to the Chinese people's life. This whole week, our theme a little bit around to fight against the pollution. So I introduced a little bit like the pollution from the plastic bags and the oil pollution. So I say I can put it there. And then the sea animals, they got hurt when there's the oil spill and the plastic bag everywhere. So that's how I combine. And then say how I can use like simple sentences to teach science. So I think I use 喜欢, 不喜欢 as like or dislike. You can use a simple sentence to teach science. The whole class you say, we just say 喜欢, 不喜欢. And then but you see there's science there. If you have enough body movements, enough flashcard, enough hints, and enough reference, enough context, and the student can understand everything. You say float or not float is a new word. The language is naturally get in their mind. 有的说不服，你们说呢？不服，你们说呢？啊？不服啊！我们来看看这个柠檬是服还是不服？来看看。耶！不服。服不服？服啊，柠檬服。
How could you apply what you have learned in this video to create learning experiences that cause language, as Wei Tao says, to get naturally in the mind of the learner?